How is what's your background in terms of movie making?
Not that big either. I've always had interest in filmmaking, so I've produced a couple of advertisements that run on regularly on TVI, and did a couple of music videos, and then 3-4 years ago, I independently with a couple of other friends tried to produce a movie which didn't really take off. So I needed another opportunity to prove our talents or to work with the team, and that's when Lenin approached me and our team and to join venture, and I'm really glad that I took the offer.
So when you started, obviously both of you have jobs that you go to make ends meet at home. How much time did you have to put into this?
Basically we all 50 of us had full-time jobs, and the whole weekend we shot this movie for 24 days consecutively, every weekend, Saturday and Sundays. And the whole weekend, Samesan and I would go to the video store and then rent all the equipments previous night at 8 o'clock and then take it to the set, leave it there. Then I will get there around 4 a.m. in the morning, and then Samesan will be there shortly after, and then by the time other crew will be there, and then by the time we start and get ready to go on for that day, and the cast will come in, and then we'll start shooting from 6 and we'll continue till 2 a.m. That's how hard it is, because because the script was such a long script. We had 120 pages long script, and we had only 12 weekends to shoot it, and so it's really exhaustion for the crew and the cast. And the other thing is the locations were, for example, the whole Anbu and father's house is shot in Kandi's, one of the actor's sister's room, and then they were moved to their parents' home, the whole family, and then we only had the house for 2 days. So we had to shoot 14 pages of script in that 2 days. So it was tough. It was very tough and very tiring. And then Sunday night around 2 a.m. if we are lucky, we will finish it. And then in the morning, next day morning, Samesan and I go and drop off all the equipment before 9 a.m. because otherwise they will charge you extra, and then go to work and then try to stay up and then try to do our work. So that's hard. It was very tough.
What kind of equipment did you use? Did you use something fancy or?
No, not at all. Not at all. Like I said, our budget is very limited. It's they mentioned it's a shoestring budget, right? Very limited budget. So we didn't go all out fancy. I mentioned a previous production, so I had basic equipment that I purchased on my own with our production company earlier. So such as camera, small things, camera, lights, filters, little things I had on my own. So we just had to rent that little extra we needed to make the movie into look a little better and have a little more equipment so that we can use for some of the shots, and that's what we did. Nothing fancy, we used a very simple camera. We didn't use any. If you look in an industry, what they use, like the dollies that you use, the professional dollies, we didn't use the professional. We borrowed a dolly off of somebody who handmade a dolly, right? So we didn't use a professional made crane. We used a very simple crane that's manually operated by us, right?
A jib arm.
Yeah, it's called a jib arm, right? So we didn't use any industry professional equipment. It's very amateur equipment that we had. But like I said, we tried to give our best that we can do to make the movie a better movie, right?
Talk about the script a little bit. Who wrote the script?
I wrote it.
You wrote the script. Now, I read a bit of your interviews on various media and heard you speak on some, and you actually spoke about it here on TVI too. You had some sort of a connection to this script. Explain that connection.
No, the story itself, it's about the gangs, and the subtext of the movie, it's about the immigrant experience, right? What our people go through in this country when they trying to adapt to this country. And I took the issue of gang violence because there are so many incidents in the past that I always wanted to find out why is this happening to us, and we are the group of people who escaped a brutal war, and then we came to this so-called safe haven, and then we are continuing to even losing lives. So that was very unsettling for me for a while. And then the question to find out why is it happening, it's where I found this story. And then at the end, what I found is it's everybody's victims. And it's including the gang members, including our parents, including us, you, and everybody. And it's something that every immigrant community, the first generation, has to give. It's some sort of sacrifice to adapt to the new land, and that's why we called it 1999, to show that these things were things of the past. And we have moved on. We are adapting to this land and adapting. We are becoming more and more Canadians. So that's the whole thing about the movie, the subtext of the movie.
So, would you have taken on this project to make the movie if it was not so much, social values, not so much changing the society, but more romantic, commercial money-making production?
Well, I don't think Lenin, and I'll speak for Lenin, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Lenin or I intended to change the society or give any messages on improvement. I think Lenin wanted to say, this was the past and this is what we went through, but we're not that anymore. It's like a piece of history, right, that you preserve, right? And for me, the intention wasn't to make a commercial or let it be like what Lenin had. For me, the intention was to give a quality product to the community. We've been struggling for a long time to break through, right? I can't say we've broken through, but I think we've set new boundaries, and that was my intention, and definitely that was Lenin's intention, to give a quality movie. And he had a quality script, so I couldn't say no to that.
Well, we'll talk a little bit about, pushing the envelope and reaching the new boundaries stuff in the second leg of the show, but more about, you must have had a great deal of difficulty trying to bring this movie out, because a lot of Tamil productions, whether they're good or bad, they all go through the same problem of, trying to sell to our own community, listen, we've produced a movie, give it a chance, come and watch it. How did you...
No, it was definitely very tough for us. And honestly, like Lenin.Sivam, you guys, and the business people and other medias were really supportive of me, because what we did is, as we did it to Lenin.Sivam employees, that we showed the movie before taking it to the public. So it turned out at the end, even before the Vancouver International Film Festival, that the whole community, at least the business community and the media community, was behind us, and then they saw our passion, they saw our hard work in it, and they all connected to the story, and then they thought this is something that needs to be preserved. So it's all of a sudden it became a community movie. So that's how we were able to easily bring it out, because otherwise it's really, really tough, in the sense that there are Indian movies coming up, Indian Tamil movies coming out every weekend, and there's always, people prefer that, right?
Yeah.
So it was tough, but we couldn't have done it without the help of the community, and without the help of the media, and without the help of the business people. Definitely, Sabesan and I couldn't have done it, or the rest of the cast and crew of 1999.
Okay, and you started screening it here in Toronto, and now you've done a lot of screening around Canada, I would imagine. What are some of the places that you...
Well, the film initially, first festival was Vancouver International Film Festival, and then we went across Canada to a couple of the cities, and then went international to, Norway and a couple of other cities in Australia, and we're going to have shows in London and Swiss and France. And now it's coming back to Toronto, Toronto Real World Film Festival that's coming up in April, and we have 2 screenings. We're very glad that they gave us 2 screenings at the festival, and that's going to be the next screening.
Now, the Real World Film Festival is the talk of the town right now. Especially, again, this is something not a lot of Tamil people are very much interested in, but because 1999 has been selected to be screened here, it has created a lot of discussions. How do you guys feel about Real World Film Festival taking your movie?
Oh, I'm very honored to be... The Vancouver International Film Festival is one thing, but the thing is we shouldn't forget that in Vancouver International Film Festival, we were 1 in 120 movies, feature films. In real world, we are 1 in 12.